up there, man. Chris
Like
Farley.
Billy Madison for sure.
Billy Madison's way up there. You don't like Chris Farley? I love Chris Farley.
That's not your genre. That's like you guys are younger than that though.
I got an old soul.
A 1990s soul.
You ready, Nick? Yep. Questions for Caleb here.
You feel like you're kind of getting back to how you were playing last year offensively? Obviously, the defense has been pretty stable, but it seems like offensively you've found a rhythm now, and you're stringing together some, really high efficiency games.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm feeling more comfortable. Just playing. It's starting to click a little bit better. I've just been getting in more reps, getting to the gym, and just not thinking as much, just kind of playing and just trying to have fun with this. So I do feel like I'm getting back kind of, in my groove a little bit and feeling good and playing with confidence, shooting it, and just kind of letting it go. So it's been feeling a lot better lately for sure.
You talk a lot about not thinking about things when you're playing your best. I guess how do you get into that mindset when you start thinking about not thinking and you're thinking about it? I guess
it's kind of like you kind of catch yourself thinking either I don't know, it's kind of weird because I'll either do a move that I know I can usually do or shoot a shot I know I can make, and it either comes off weird or stuff like that. Like you just kind of catch yourself. I can't really explain it, but then I just kind of get into a mode like I can't say it, but a bump it mode basically, and it's just kind of like you just start playing, and because obviously the way I play while I'm thinking doesn't work, so then I kind of just take a step back and just kind of get myself into a different mode.
You have Boise State next. Obviously, they gave you a pretty good challenge down there in Idaho. I guess what's the biggest thing you learned about them going against them for a second time?
I mean, they're a talented team. They're long. I mean, they're obviously the zone is it's always kind of affected us a little bit, but I don't know. I mean, especially at Boise, it's always hard. They had a great crowd, and especially with them at home, it's like a game of momentum, a game of runs, and we can use that to our advantage this time since we're at home, and just kind of not let them be as comfortable. A lot of guys on their team had their average, if not above their average, that game too, whether it was points or rebounds or assists. So we got to make sure we do our job on the defensive end, and kind of key on those guys and make sure they get below their averages, because that's typically what happens when people play us. They they have below their average, whether in whatever category they're good at. So our defense wasn't the best at the time. So I mean, we just got to make sure we hold people below their averages.
How fun is it getting every team's best shot, though, knowing that this is their big game every year or every time you see them?
It's always fun. I mean, especially when you're playing against crowds like UNLV and like you said at Boise State, and you just it feels good when you walk into a place and that people are just praying that you lose, and then if you start to play well and then you beat their team or you're playing well or whatever. I mean, it feels good to do that, to go in and kind of quiet a crowd and get the student section mad, stuff like that. So I mean, it's always fun to see people's reactions when they're they're not on your side when you're beating them. So it's always fun because you don't want to just blow people out by 80 every game. That's no fun for us. I mean, that would be nice, but it's not fun to play like that. So obviously we don't want to keep it close either, but just to play and get some and have great competition and stuff like that. It's always fun.
You already got them on the road, so now you get them at home. In your experience, you see it in their eyes sometimes when you already got them on their home court and realize now we got you where we're going to get you again.
Yeah, sort of. It's kind of like that, but then also it's like to them, you could see it. Like you said, you could see it in them that they're thinking the win will be that much better if it's at our place. You know what I'm saying? So they're just going to come out even stronger and come out even more energy just because they're playing against the home crowd. And everyone who likes competition, who plays any collegiate sport, would when you're playing an away game, you love the feeling of doing that. Like I just said, of hushing the crowd up. So that's going to be them their mentality coming into this game too.
You just did it, so you absolutely know about that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You guys are sold out for the rest of the season. How has the atmosphere at Lawler changed this year compared to last year when it was good, but it seems like it's taken to another level this season?
Yeah, I mean, you see it. Just obviously more seats are filled, and obviously people were really engaged last year, then now people are. It's like you said, it's just to a whole new level now. You can just see that everyone's genuinely invested in us winning, and they try to do their part as best they can. Outside the lines for us, whether it's being loud and when other guys are trying to shoot free throws on the other team, and they love the hustle plays. So I mean, that just gets us going. Whenever you can, anytime you can either get a dunk or see a loose ball, and it just makes you want to jump on the ground. Just I mean, it's the energy and the craziness is infectious. So I mean, it definitely spreads on our team and makes us really want to play that much harder.
You guys played in the ACC at North Carolina State. That seems to be the conference that cares the most about basketball. How would you compare Lawler's atmosphere to some of the places you played in that conference?
It's more intimate here, like a lot more closer. You kind of it's even though they're smaller, it's kind of it's at NC State is like 20,000+ seats. We're playing in a pro hockey arena, so I mean there could be 15,000 people in there, and you'd feel like there's like 7, and just depending on who we're playing and stuff like that, whether the crowd's being loud or not. So whenever you're playing, 11, 12, almost 12,000 people in here, and people get loud, you hear it, you feel it. But at the other schools, it's so big, the place is so big, you can't really tell. Sometimes that's why I was talking to Cody. I was like, man, I'd rather be in an arena like this rather than like some nice, big, huge, wide arena where people got to get really loud for you to like really have that advantage, that home court advantage.
You guys didn't trail once on Tuesday. How does it feel to not play catch up for once?
It's different. I mean, it feels good. I mean, if we could do that every game, that'd be nice. But obviously, it just hasn't been, our track record. So I mean, hopefully, that is kind of turn a new leaf kind of thing to where we could probably start that and stay out in front once in a while, and not try to, like you said, play catch up. But obviously, it feels good to to feel like you're in control of the game, and I think we're starting to learn how to get off to better starts, and and just trying to keep the momentum and not really getting like flustered at all whenever guys go on runs.
Bouncing off of that, has anything changed since maybe halftime of the Air Force game? It's a small sample size, but it seems like you guys have kind of been a little bit more locked in since then.
Yeah, I mean the first half for the Air Force game, it's just it's embarrassing, like just for us individually and us as a team, and we know we're much better than a 20-point half. We kept them to 24, but we can score more than 20 points. Obviously, we've had guys score 20 points by themselves in a half. So there should be nobody. We got too many weapons for all of us collectively to have 20 points at a half. So I just think it's one of those things that we just wanted to. It's kind of one of those things where it's like, all right, we need to stop playing around. Stop being content. Stop being kind of satisfied to just scraping by wins, and we got to prove people that we are a top 10 team.
You excited for a little matinee action on Saturday? I'm sure waiting around for these 8 o'clock starts gets a little old after a while.
Yeah, it definitely does. I like to play a little bit earlier, but I like to play earlier, but I don't really care. I don't be doing nothing anyways. If I'm not in the gym, I'm watching Netflix. So it don't really matter to what time we start. So I don't really care.
Wanted to ask you about somebody who doesn't see the floor a lot, but seems to be an important part of the team per must. David Cunningham, I guess, what has he meant to you guys? And you've spent 3 seasons with him now. What does he do behind the scenes that helps you guys get ready for a game?
He just brings energy every day. It's like it's kind of one of those things that you look at him. If you see a guy go hard knowingly, it's kind of like Thule and Worm too. Like those guys go hard knowing they're probably not going to win the game. Until maybe the last minute, depending on the score. So when those guys come into practice and they're playing hard and they're sweating, they're diving on loose balls and they're going through all the drills just like we are, knowing that they're not going to play, it's kind of one of those things. It's like it kind of puts it in perspective for you, and first it allows you to be grateful and to get on the floor, and second, you just have no excuses. You know what I'm saying? So they've been big. He's been big for us, especially just chemistry wise, off the court, keeping guys together. He's been with, like you said, 3 years with him, and I got to know him really well. And on the road, he's everyone clowning around and stuff like that. So it's good. It's guys like that are really good for the camaraderie of the team, and they keep us gelled up like glue guys off the court.
I also wanted to ask about Jazz Johnson. Obviously, he doesn't have prototypical basketball height. I guess what has his determination meant to your group, and seeing him be such a high-level player given his limitations, just height-wise?
It's one of those things. I wasn't surprised. I'm not surprised all the ways. He's a dog. He's like a little pit bull. he's what he like you said, what he likes and how he's he's got the heart. He plays really hard. He brings energy. He plays defense. He's going in there trying to rebound against 6'9" guys, 6'9" athletic guys. It's one of those things that he's kind of been behind the 8 ball from the jump, and always has figured out a way to one, prove himself, and to get on the court and be a good teammate at the same time. So, like I said again, it's just kind of one of those things, like, you don't have an excuse to be pouting. You don't have an excuse to to not go hard or take a play off, because guys like him are like fighting for minutes and figuring out a way to get on the court and get those minutes.
Any more questions for Tim? Thank you.
Thank you.
Questions for Cody?
Are you guys not actually identical twins?
We're fraternal.
No way.
Yeah.
That's easy, right? It's an easy call.
Nobody believes this, but it's true.
You're fraternal?
Yeah.
Oh my, I don't believe that.
I know you wouldn't.
Who's older?
I am. 1 minute. That's right.
You guys got off to a great start against UNLV. I mean, that seems like that's kind of been a point of frustration or a point of emphasis. I mean, did it feel different playing from, in front, having the lead, not really being challenged?
Yeah, it was a little different, because we haven't been getting off the hot starts lately, and I guess throughout the season, to be honest. But, yeah, it made us feel a little bit more comfortable, and it just allowed us to kind of just be more aggressive and play our game, and instead of just starting from behind like we usually have lately. And that's a good feeling. That's something that we've emphasized throughout the season, and it's something that we're getting better at, but it's a process for sure.
Seems like your brother's been playing better offensively. I think it was 26 points on just 12 shots against UNLV. I guess what's been the biggest difference for him to be a little bit more efficient offensively to go with everything else he's done? Just him not overthinking and just being aggressive, and kind of just I felt like at the beginning of the season he kind of was making himself kind of one-dimensional, where he would settle a lot for threes, and he's still going to take threes. That's his game, and he's going to take tough shots. But I think that he's kind of integrating more like his all-around game instead of kind of relying just on his three-point shot. And I think when he's not relying on his three-point shot, and I think that he's being aggressive, whether it's getting downhill, mid-range, going to set random screens, stuff like that, getting other people open, I think it really helps his own game in a variety of ways. And I think that he's starting to see that. And I think that he was just having a rough start to begin with, but I think a lot of it's just him getting out of his own head, and I think that he's starting to come around.
I know you've been in his ear too. What are some of the things that you guys always obviously confide in each other about?
Same thing, really. Just stop settling. To be honest, I feel like he bails a lot of defensive players out when he starts settling, and he's too good of a player in a variety of areas. Whether it's getting downhill, whether it's getting to the paint, whether it's posting up, whether it's getting to his mid range, whatever. He's got a lot of stuff to his game, and I think that when he settles for that three-point shot, a lot of the times he doesn't do himself any justice, and I think that it takes away a lot from his game, and showing ultimately what he can do. And but I think that for me personally, I think that I was just telling him kind of just play your game, get out your own head. And I think that I was telling him that he was settling way too much. I think that he's already going to take threes, but the degree of difficulty of his shots were kind of just, they weren't the same as last year. Like, yeah, they're going to be tough shots, but they weren't the same as last year. I think that he was making them 10 times harder this year for whatever reason. But I think that he was just overthinking for the most part.
He didn't seem to care when you guys play, but are you excited for a little earlier tip-off? You don't have to wait as long for your game?
It's new. But like he said, we don't do nothing anyways. Honestly, it's true. We don't do nothing but kind of just chill or watch Netflix unless we're in the gym. That's really about it. So, yeah, I'm excited. It is what it is. We get to play, so I'm always happy about that.
How do you feel about playing Boise State at home?
It's going to be exciting. And they're a really good team. They got a really good program. really good, great staff, great players. They got good chemistry. It's gonna be a good game, and obviously us playing there, it was an exciting game. Probably wasn't obviously we won, which is always a good thing, but we definitely want it to be that close every time. So, but at the end of the day, we got out there with a W, and that's all that matters. And it doesn't matter where you play or what conference you're in. Away games are hard no matter where you're at. So we got to be appreciative of us winning that game, but at the same time, we have to come a little bit more focused and not rely on the last second shot.
Why was it so exciting? We missed all that.
I don't know. It was my first game winner of my college career, so I don't know. It was something that I'm always gonna remember. But for me personally, even though game winners are fun and they're exciting and things like that, I would rather just beat people and be comfortable with a little distance with our lead. So and not really have to rely on a miracle shot to go up and hope that it goes in and stuff. So. I think that we just have to make sure we come prepared and focused and understand that they are a really, really good team and we're going to get their best shot just like we do everyone in our conference and everyone that we played thus far. So I think that we just have to make sure that we're ready to play.
So let's say on Saturday, is there a way for you to go back during your other games, whether it's Boise State, Air Force, anybody, and think about what you guys did right during those games and recollect that during your game, say, okay, this worked, this didn't, and try to be sure that you do everything right?
Be honest, it's just sticking to the game plan. Our game plan is how we're going to win, and sometimes that we shy away from that, whether it's rebounding, whether it's defending the three, whether it's whatever it is. There's like we say all the time, every game has its own identity, and I think that, depending on because, it depends on who we play. And so, like, this game, we're just going to have to do what we should have done the first time, and it'll be good. I don't want to give our game plan out, but we just have to make sure we stick to it.
How important was getting that win? Because you guys would have been 3-2 in conference,
yeah.
2 games behind Boise, would have lost 2 of your last 3. I mean, things may be different moving forward.
Right.
How important do you think it was just to get out of there with the victory?
It was big, and again, winning anywhere on the road, at home, whatever it is big. But I think for us to win that game in particular was big for us because I don't think that we would have been in a great position at that point. I think that it would have been a tougher road for us for sure, and making sure that we had to be on our P's and Q's. And we couldn't have any slip-ups. And, honestly, that's still the case, and that's how we still approach it every single day to make sure that we're prepared and so that we don't have any slip-ups or whatever you want to call it. But I think the biggest thing for us is really just making sure we stick to the game plan and obviously stay prepared and focused and make sure we're focused for all 40 minutes.
Asked your brother about DC. I guess, what does he bring to the team? And it seems like when he gets in there, you guys want him to score so badly. I mean, how fun is it just watching him get on the court and have a chance to, play in front of fans?
I mean, DC's like, he's the perfect player. Every time he gets out there, it's like he does everything right. He's always in the right spots. He'd probably average more rebounds than me in less minutes. Like, he does everything right. I think that he just it's hard you can't replace him. And I think that he brings so much to our team, whether it's energy, whether it's chemistry, whether it's him just doing the little things, and obviously knowing that he might not play. There's a lot of games where he don't play, and there's some games that he does get in, but he brings a lot to our team, and I think that it is really exciting when he gets to go out there. And even when he's out there, there's guys I know in the country in his position that when they get out there, they're going to try to score every time they touch the ball, and he still tries to play the right way, makes the right plays, he sets screens, he tries to get other people open within the limited amount of minutes that he has. You don't really have a lot of guys like that, so it's hard. You can't really replace them.
Has anything changed since halftime of the Air Force game, or is it just you guys kind of playing better? Caleb said it was sort of we couldn't be comfortable in the position we were, content.
Yeah, I think that just us staying hungry. I think that us realizing, because what did we score? Only 20 points in that half. It was kind of just like it was disrespectful to ourselves. Knowing the kind of guys and the kind of talent that we have on our team for us to only score 20 points and, I guess you could give them credit. They played good defense and so did we, but, we're better than 20 points in a half. And, we just have to make sure that we can't be content and complacent with where we're at and expect us, because we're a second half team or whatever you want to call it, to think that we're going to come back and win, because there's going to be cases where that that doesn't pan out that way, and we don't want it. We don't want it to be like that. So we have to make sure that we start off with us being focused and prepared and making sure that we start off on the right foot, and so that we don't have to start coming from behind and relying on us being a second half team and for it to come back and bite us. So I think that the biggest thing is us emphasizing on getting a great start, being focused, and kind of just sticking to the game plan and just being aggressive. I think sometimes that we're not aggressive to start with, and I think when our team is aggressive to start the game, I think that it's really hard to beat us.
Coach was telling us last week that there's people at his gym asking him if he's going to come to the game tonight. You guys have captivated the non-basketball fan, which historically has not been easy to do in this town. How much pride do you take in just being the big ticket in town?
I mean, it's awesome, and you can see it all throughout the community and how they embrace us ever since I've got here, and obviously when Coach has got here and how the things that he's accomplished, and it's just awesome to see that people are really backing us no matter where we're at, and then to see what even when we travel, we have fans there too that take those trips just to come watch us play and support us. So it means a lot, and I mean, this community is like second to none, especially like when it comes to being there to support us and just bringing all the energy for us, and we're really appreciative of that, because there's a lot of programs that don't have that, and we obviously can't take it for granted. And they're a big reason why we do what we do, and while we're being successful at the same time, just to have that kind of support, and it takes us a long way.
Thanks, Cody. I gotta get. Oh, okay.
Good. Thank you.
How about a quick Super Bowl prediction?
Is this your water?
No, nobody's opened it.
You want it?
Yeah, I'll take it.
It's not a violation, is it?
No, it's good. It's good. That's questions for Coach Musselman.
You didn't trail once on Tuesday. How does it feel to not play catch up for once?
I mean, there's been a lot of games where we haven't trailed. I think that we all and me included, just tend to remember when we're down in the first half and come back. But there's probably been just as many games where we've led from start to finish. It's hard to do in basketball, especially on the road. But I thought we played a really complete game for 40 minutes. Some things we could improve in the second half of the game, but happy with the road win.
How much do you expect teams to change what they do the second time you face them? This will be the first time you.
I mean, I think through the first 15 games, I think everybody was going to change and zone us. We've altered our zone offense. It's much more effective right now. We've given players individual goals. For instance, we wanted Caleb to get 30 paint touches where it was either off the bounce, off the cut, and I think that really helped him last game tremendously. He got to the foul line a lot more, and I told the team the other day, like right now, people zone us in the last couple games, like we're better against zone like we were last year. We went through a little hiccup where we tried to make some adjustments. We have new personnel, a bigger team. So it just was, took us a little bit of time to figure out what we were going to do from a zone offensive standpoint, because we couldn't run the same zone offense that we did last year. We basically scrapped what we did last year, and as the season progressed, we've added stuff and feel like we're a much better zone offensive execution team right now.
The way Caleb played last game and has played the last couple games, is that your preferred template for him? I know you don't mind him shooting threes and giving him the green light, but 26 points on 12 shots.
Yeah, I just thought he was
throws.
just so effective. Getting to the lane and finishing in transition. Those are a lot of the things that we really need him to do for our team. And we're starting to figure out that when we stand beyond the three-point line and pass it around and take a three-point shot, that's not our most effective way of playing. Our most effective way is through a post-up, and they double-team, and we kick it out for a three, or we dribble penetrate and kick it out for a three. And the numbers that we're showing our guys on a daily basis, it's the same way. Last game we were 8 out of 9 from the field when we paint touched and had more than 3 passes. So we'll show them that today, and we'll just keep trying to use statistics to get our guys to buy into exactly how we want to play.
I have a feeling, I'm going to date myself, that you and I might be the only two that have been to Centennial Coliseum. Tell me a little bit about maybe your last memory from Centennial Coliseum.
I don't know if I was old enough. I mean, I remember, but you know, I mean, anytime you watch, you know, I'm sure you're referring to my dad.
I'm referring to you as a little guy and your dad.
Yeah, I mean, anytime
That's what I'm doing for me.
anytime I went and watched my dad coach, you know, it was memorable. No matter what arena. I mean, even before Centennial, I mean, I remember walking into University of Michigan and watching Campy Russell play when I was really young, and you know, anytime I got to watch my dad play, it was like the greatest thing in the world.
Are you in favor of the matinee tip-off? I'm sure it gets old waiting around till 8 o'clock.
It's really going to get old when you got to wait till 9 o'clock, because we have one of those coming up. But yeah, I mean, I think that it's certainly good to be able to go have dinner with your wife and kids after a game at a reasonable hour, and my wife will be able to go to bed a little bit earlier, because after a 8 o'clock game, I stay up really late because of the adrenaline. So 3 o'clock game will allow me to have an adrenaline downflow by midnight.
Has anything changed since halftime of that Air Force game, or is it just as simple as you guys getting better and shots starting to fall?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, I think all seasons there's ups and downs regardless of the sport, and you know, right now we made some adjustments after we lost in New Mexico, and you know, I mean, obviously we're playing really good basketball, and we got another tough game on Saturday, and we can never, you know. I told the guys the other day, like, hey, you know, I watched our chemistry on the plane going to Las Vegas. I watched our chemistry and shoot around that night. We couldn't have better chemistry, but I told the guys that's exactly how I felt going into Albuquerque too. Like, we all, everybody was getting along, a lot of smiles, a lot of, you know, but that can end real quickly if you don't have the right mental approach. And I do think our team really loves each other. They really like being around each other. We feel good about what's going on. But having said that, like, the minute you lose your edge, you get popped like we did in Albuquerque. And so that was kind of our pregame message. It was our, you know, the night before the game, that was my message to the team was, hey, I love having fun with you guys. I love smiling. It's awesome to be traveling, you know, with this group. And speaking of traveling, I mean, it's amazing through the airports, the people that recognize who our team is. And we got back to the hotel in Vegas, and my wife said, "What is going on?" She goes, "I've never seen a post-game atmosphere underneath in the tunnel area." And I said, that's like what it's like for an NBA. I mean, there was people that wanted to take pictures with our guys. There was people that wanted balls signed. You get that at home, but I haven't seen it on the road ever in college. Maybe a little bit last year during the NCAA tournament, but the security's so strict, there's not much that can get by. But our environment post-game, I couldn't get the guys on the bus. Like, it was like an NBA situation where you're telling guys, like, hey, we got to go. We can't sit here and talk to everybody.
I'll tell you this. I had a friend on the plane that came back with your team, and she told me that they were the most well-behaved group of guys that she's been around a long time, so I felt like you needed to know that. On that note, what can you still work on? What's the biggest thing you need to work on before Saturday?
Well, first of all, you know, I want to comment on, like, the character of our guys, because it's been really neat lately to see the tweets that people send out, whether it's somebody that's diabetic and met Trey Porter and the time that he spends with somebody, or there's just a lot of really cool things about our guys off the floor, and that's also why we're winning. It's not just about how good of jump shooters they are. It's not just about how hard they play. It's about the character of the guys, because you can't play 21 games and go 20-1. You can't do it without having incredible character, incredible leadership, and a group that really believes in itself. What was the second part?
What you got to work on before Boise, what's the biggest thing that you see from them that you have to work on still?
I mean, we don't have much time. You know, we got 2 days of practice, but we'll go through our normal preps, try to go through all their sets, their baseline out of bounds, things that they did well from their end that we've got to do a little bit better job. We got in foul trouble in Boise. Trey Porter had 4 fouls. Corey Henson had 3 fouls in the first half. Trey Thurman had some fouls, so we want to address that. Why did we have those fouls? We only had 2 offensive rebounds in a 40-minute game that we won. We'd like to rebound a little bit better offensively, especially if they're going to zone us. Zones are vulnerable to offensive rebounds. So just, you know, there's a whole, you know, we want to keep playing with the pace we've been playing because we've been playing with really good offensive pace of late.
You've asked about Jazz before, but I wonder if you could just kind of take us back to when you were making the decision to bring him here or not, and kind of what you were wavering on to get him, and has he kind of exceeded the expectations once you got him there?
Yeah, I mean, I've told the story. I mean, we were in John Wayne Airport, coming back from my son's AAU game tournament, and he and I and Ruda was with us. We just were sitting there, the 3 of us, and we kept watching more film, and we watched Portland against UCLA. We watched Portland against St. Mary's. Obviously, a high school age son going into his senior year of high school in the summer does not want to watch St. Mary's against Portland or UCLA against Portland. And finally, Matty Musk got up and said, "Dad, he's really, really good. If you don't take him, it's on you, and I'm going to get a burrito." So he got up and left, and I looked at Ruda and said, "Hey, he's probably right. Like, we've watched so much tape of him. The only reluctance was just his size, because we have recruited a lot of guys between 6'5" and 6'8" that can play multi-positions, and but the one thing we kept coming back to Jazz, not only was he a big shot maker, but he was a really, really tough kid. And then when he and his dad came on campus, like, those two are tough people. And we knew from eating with, and his dad basically looked at me when we were leaving, might have been even the first meal, and he said, he's a pretty strong dude, and he grabbed me and said, "Muss, Jazz is coming here. He doesn't know it yet, but he's committing here. So he'll tell you whenever he's going to tell you, but I'm telling you right now as his dad, he's coming here."
Does his toughness kind of trickle down to the rest of the guys, you think?
Yeah, I think anytime you got a guy that's willing to dive on the floor for loose balls and willing to be 5'10" and front the post and battle with a guy 7 foot, yeah, I think it's contagious. Any toughness, intangible thing that anybody does on the team, I think kind of resonates with the whole group.
Any more questions? Thanks, Coach.
Super Bowl pick?
It's really hard, man. Because I love reading about McVay, but it's really hard. Belichick's is what it is. But I got to go with the Rams just because of geography, close to San Diego. Warm weather team, going Rams.